Over the years, with video games becoming more and more grandiose, in addition to other boring stuff like inflation, video games are going up in price, which is causing some speculation to this becoming the new normal. And today we're going to be going over this debate and how it applies to Nintendo as well as the overall landscape. But really quick, we're coming up on 500 subscribers. I know, the big half of 1,000, very impressive. So if you enjoyed, then please feel free to subscribe. Anyways, moving on. So first, I'm going to be going over the root of the problem, or mainly where this really started from. So starting primarily in 2020, Sony made the move to $70 video games following the PS5's release. Not really a huge deal until others started following suit, and it became a real issue when Nintendo followed this, with Tears of the Kingdom being $70. And this caused many to speculate on this is going to be the new norm, with Nintendo themselves confirming some games will receive the same treatment regarding price. And if this were to go successfully industry-wide, because at the end of the day they are businesses, wouldn't they just completely switch, pun not intended, for all games? I mean, like I said, Sony was the first to do it, and then others such as Microsoft started following suit, and then Nintendo, where the real controversy started, following them. So this is a little bit of a big deal when Nintendo starts to do the same thing as the other three are doing. Well, here's where it gets morally questioned and whether games are justified to have such a high price tag. As we know, Nintendo have always been behind the graphics and grandiose scale when it comes to the games, such as Tears of the Kingdom being compared to other games like God of War, Cyberpunk, or other huge, massively AAA games from other companies that just graphically and in terms of their scale don't really compare to Nintendo games in the nicest way possible. And this is a big deal, as a game such as Tears of the Kingdom being $70 is honestly a big statement. I mean, take some other examples of games that have this price tag, such as God of War Ragnarok, Star Wars Jedi Survivor, and of course Tears of the Kingdom. I mean, obviously the aforementioned games that I said are obviously huge, grandiose games with really intense graphics that really demand the system to be powerful. So to have Tears of the Kingdom be at the same level as those two games is really a big deal. And with these games in mind, the price tag makes sense, as these are big, expansive worlds with a lot put into them. And even if you're just a Nintendo guy like me, Tears of the Kingdom is basically Breath of the Wild, but with so much more. And obviously the increase should be somewhat justified, right? This is true, but go back to what I said about this price increase becoming an industry norm. Games are only as much as they're worth, so if the game isn't worth $70 to you, then of course don't buy it. And that's the responsibility now on the developer end. If games are going to make a shift like this, then we should also see an overall quality increase and value increase, as that validates the price increase. This price tag should indicate better games, because if not, then lazy games that are ripping people off shouldn't sell well, as this is more of a premium price, which should equate to a more premium product, especially considering all the other things that eat up the bank account, such as the consoles themselves, online subscriptions, and other things in the mix like DLC. And like I said, for a more premium price in a hobby that has so much going into it already, like I said, with premium prices for online subscriptions and all that kind of thing, there should be a lot more value. Say for example the Switch online service, which somewhat recently, but not really anymore, made the move from going from the normal account to $20 a year over to $50 a year, which of course is like, wow, that's a $30 increase. Why would anybody buy that? But they have to obviously validate that by giving you access to, say, N64 games, the Genesis collection. There's a lot of things that go into it that make the value quote-unquote worth. There is still a little bit of a debate on whether or not it is worth it, but like I said, there needs to be value on the other end, instead of just saying, yeah, give us $50, $30 more for just the exact same online service. Like, obviously that just wouldn't make any sense because it's a ripoff. So we move on to moving forward, and I bet you didn't think some idiot talking about video games would be teaching economics 101, but that's what happened. So let's move on, or more so forward. If anything, I see the exclusive $70 game thing being a test to see how successful this will go, and if it should continue in the future, as this is a big change. Personally, I don't see this becoming the new norm across the industry, but more towards massive AAA games like Tears of the Kingdom, while other games that aren't so grandiose like Mario Kart, for example, will remain at the minimum $60 or whatever that'll be in the future. Again, it certainly is a possibility that games as a whole will make this move, but by that point, games normally will be so much more advanced, offer more content, look better, and of course, inflation will catch up, and this makes this the new norm anyways. I mean, take examples that we see from the past. Games used to be $50 or so, and now they're $60, so obviously things are going to catch up to make the $70 price tag at that point a lot more justified, more so than just the games themselves. But overall, this price tag can be seen as a mixed bag, as consumers will have to cough up more money just to play games, but on the contrary, this should mean an increase in quality, right? And value, of course, to follow this more premium price. Of course, in a perfect world, us the consumers would like to pay less, if not any, but if it means we're getting hundreds of more hours of playtime and free DLC or updates along the way, then I'll be first in line to pay the extra $10. But of course, if this is the case. Again, this is mostly all speculation, so take this all with a grain of salt, and if you have your own thoughts, then definitely let me know in the comments below. As well as if the price tag is justified if you've played other games with this premium price tag, soundtrack, like say for example God of the War Tears of the Kingdom when that finally comes out, and if you thought the extra $10 was worth it or not. But other than that, like I said, these are just my thoughts, and if you did enjoy, then feel free to leave this video a like and subscribe and all that jazz, and maybe we can have a little bit of a discussion as to whether or not you feel about this whole industry-wide change, if that makes any sense. But anyways, I guess I'll see you next one. Take care.